Hello, hello, hello. Hello there. Hello there. Let me check if I am live. All right. Hello and welcome to Melby TV. Hello, guys. Hello, 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 hello. I hope you're doing well. I hope you are good. I see there's a person already watching. If you are watching here, please say hello, coach. Hello. All right. Did I not just okay? Hello, my good and lovely peeps. Let's log in and let's have fun. Let's log in and let's have fun. I'm just going to start in a moment, in a mom. All right. Hello, good peeps. Okay, let me just close here before it makes noise for us. Hello, guys. I see there are 2 people watching. I'm always been told that, hey, when you do the live, you just need to just say whatever you need to say. But I'm here pressing my phone. Hello, good people. Please tell me where you're logging in from, who is here, because I cannot see who is here. Please say hi, coach, so that I can see. Hello, Neo. Yeah, the regular. Hello, hello, Neo. And other people who are logging in live with me here, welcome to Malebu TV. I am Coach Malebu, a holistic life coach and author and a healer. I use healing methods such as exercising, meditation. I also use things like journaling, a whole lot of other things to help people really heal. And somebody might be saying, why do you want people to heal? Why do you really care about people healing? But the main reason for me to care is because I have been there before. And some of you know the story, as I've already said in my Instagram live and my Facebook live, that I had been sexually abused when I was young, and I needed somebody who could help me in this process of becoming. And I couldn't find anyone at that point in time. And one of the reasons why I'm standing in the gap for a whole lot of people, it's because of that. It's because of I have been through a process of healing myself, and I want people to heal so that you can create the life that you want. There is absolutely no one who can create from a mess, from a hurtful place, from pain. Always when we are creating from pain, we are creating things that God did not intend for our lives. So you are here for the first time. You want to subscribe to this channel so that we grow this community together. And if you are here like Neo and other people who are always here with me, thank you for being here. And also share this with your friends and family and see if they can like the content of this channel, right? So I've already said I'm Malebu. Today we are talking about opening your heart, healing your heart, allowing abundance, allowing the Christ consciousness to permeate allowing love to permeate the rest of your life. And this is what, yes, we're talking about today, and allowing abundance. So let me check who is on the chat. Hi, coach. I haven't watched in a long time because of work schedule. No problem, Faith. We have all this as recordings. A whole lot of people are going live with me every Tuesday, especially here since I've started the Tuesday session. And I get a lot of people saying, "Whoa, coach, my life is just changing," literally like that. Hello, Zelda. Hello, everyone. Right? So if you are here, please tell people that you also have seen change in your life since you have followed me. Some have followed me from Facebook, some from Instagram, some also from here on YouTube. And preach the word, girl. So today I said we are talking about opening your heart, and most of us, we have our heart closed, and most of the reasons why our heart are closed is because we have undergone through some type of trauma, pain, or hurt, or something in your life that really caused you to close your heart. So the other time when I was here live with you guys, I mentioned about the things that really happens during the time of trauma and pain. And one of the things that I talked, or two things that I spoke about, is that you will lose a part of your mental being, which is your psychological self. And in psychology, they call it psychological disassociation, mental disassociation. And that is the reason why a lot of people who have been, especially through trauma, have forgotten about their past life. I mean, right now I'm still trying to figure out what was happening to me at age 3, because I totally forgot. So when you go through trauma, that's another thing that you go through. And then the second one that I spoke about is a soul disassociation, which in other terms we call it a soul loss. So you also lose part of your soul, and this is on an intention that it allows you to heal, and then you can, when you are doing the healing process, you can retrieve it. But most people don't do that, and we spoke about it in the, I think 2 weeks from now is, and I'm not going to go back to that. But today we are talking about the issue of the heart. Now, when we go through maybe a hurtful relationship, you have been in a relationship for 7 years and you love this person and they disappointed you. What do you do next? Most of us, instead of doing the first one, we do the second one. So the first one is for you to ask, what is trying to emerge in me? Why is this thing happening in my life? You need to be asking questions. I mean, Coach Tandekai always would call her about dreams, and she will be like, you need to ask. And yesterday she said, you need to ask. And I asked, and I found out something that I completely had forgotten, but the dream was showing me something, and she said, you need to ask. So when trauma, pain, and hurtful things happens to us, whether at a workplace, in your relationships, at home, whatever, we need to be asking, what is trying to emerge in me? Because nothing happens because of nothing, right? There is always a reason for us to embark on that journey. But then we don't ask. What we do is that we now see ourselves or shape or view the world according to the lens of our trauma and our pain. And when we do that, then what happens is that we close the heart. We close the heart. And the Bible says in the book of Proverbs that, hey, guard your heart. It says that guard your heart with diligence, because the issues of life flows through the heart. So there is absolutely no way that you can have abundance in your life if your heart is closed. If you have experienced a trauma, I always hear people who have, I have been in very hurtful relationships that sometimes when I talk about it, I think it's not that traumatic, but it has been through, I have been through hell in relationships. But then because of healing, I then opened myself up for love, to love myself, and also to be able to love another person. But most people, they will be in a hurtful relationship, and then the conclusion there is that, yo, man, guys, or women, guys, those type of things. That is actually what we do as human beings. We now then shape our lives. We view our lives with the lens of what had happened to us. But what had happened to us was never meant for us to, God says that my plans for you are not meant to harm you, is to make you prosperous. But then most of the time we are thinking the opposite, and we begin to now close the heart. Now, why do we then close the heart? The heart is where you feel your emotions. So this is where you can feel anger. This is where you can feel all negative emotions. And also this is where you can feel love, and you can feel other positive emotions from the heart. So the protective measure, or the protective thing that we do to ourselves, is that we close the heart. We numb the pain that we have been through, close the heart, get into relationships, get into workplaces with a very closed heart. And we wonder, really, why are things really happening to me this way? And, while I was putting on my makeup, I was having this session with myself, that there would be people that would even be saying, God, what did I do to deserve this? And God is just saying to you, open your heart, because the issues of life flow through your heart. Now, in spirituality, we have what we call, you have heard me talking about them, energy centers, chakras, which we have 3 on the top, and then we have 3, up and down chakras. Yes, let's just call them like that, right? So that is your oneness with your God. Your upper chakras are more about, the godly part of you, or the spiritual part of you. Then your lower chakras are either about you, or about your lineage, about your tribe, and all that. But what connects this the 6 chakras, is the center, which is your heart. Now, the Bible even says it, guys. Sometimes when we read the Bible religiously, we don't understand. The Bible says you can speak in a tongue of angels and do all these things, but when you do not have love, you're nothing. You're just making noise. So here is the center of it all. If you open your heart to love yourself, loving God and other people, you are actually opening your heart for abundance, for money, for health, for what I mainly teach about the things that I have been through, right? I have been through, oh my God. I don't know, guys. Can you still see me? Can you still see me? Can you still see me? It says here your connection is unstable. I hope that I am live. Can you still see me? Can you still see me? Let me just check on my side. I hope you guys can still see me. Okay. Okay. All right. Hey, I think the line that all right. To tell you my story, because most of the time what I'm teaching about are things I have been growing through. That is why I master it. And I was like, wow, I'm reading a book called What Happened to You. And guys, if you read that book, you will think that I have read it before. And if JJ is here, she remembers that when I met her about a week ago, 2 weeks ago, just a day before I went away, I got to, actually I saw the book, but then I said, I don't have money for this book. But again, I was driven back. Something in me said, go to exclusive books, go and buy this book. And I went to buy the book. When I read the book, I find out that the doctor, who is a trauma, whatever doctor, Dr. Perry and Oprah, are talking about the things that I have been talking about. And I'm like, wow, that's good. That's good. I have never went to school to study psychology, but as Coach Mpo said, my angels and my guides are really blessing me with a whole lot of knowledge that I sometimes don't know where it's coming from. But anyway, in my first traumatic situation happened at the ages of 4, and I did a video on that, on how I closed my energy center, which is in my heart energy center. So I did not know about this. Just like many of us, we had forgotten about the things that had happened to us because we had a mental disassociation and also a soul loss through the process of trauma. Now, when I was doing this, I completely forgotten, like I said. So one of the coaches introduced us to what they call energy healing, which is part of what I'm doing right now, right? It's part of what I'm doing right now. And by the time I just went on to energy healing session, I didn't even know what was my problem. You know, when it was like a peer pressure, everybody was going and they were like, "Oh, wow, I'm so surprised that this lady said 1, 2, 3." And I went, I booked. I didn't even know what I was going to talk about because I didn't think I had a problem. And in my energy being, and the trapped, wounded child came from age 4. And this woman was telling me that at age 4, you wanted to regress and go back to your mother's womb. And I was like, who is that? You know, I had completely forgotten about that. But anyway, she said I will remember some of the things as the day goes. So usually when we do energy healing, you will be very tired, you know, and obviously your mind will be working, you know, thinking about that. And there I was after maybe 3-4 hours after the session. I remember that at age 4, that was when my little brother Kagiso was born, and I wanted to kill him. I did not want Kagiso in my life, and I wanted to kill him. And that's how my first trauma happened. And I closed my heart from there. And I said, the world is not a safe place for me. I want to go out of this world. I want to go back to my mother's womb because I'm not safe and all that. And I closed my heart. Now I want to tell you something about this trauma that happened to me, because now I could connect the dots of why these things have been happening to me. So I closed my heart at the ages of 4, and my trapped, pain, and traumatic situation was in my energy body, which becomes your aura. Now at age 8, just 4 years after that, I then got myself being sexually abused by another guy. Now I want to tell you something, guys. When you have unhealed things in you, we might not see it. You might be as lovely as me, like, you know, you smiling and a whole lot of other things, good things, bad things, right? You might be like that. But then that pain is trapped into your energy body. And your energy body becomes your aura, which is what people say is the energy you emit, right? It is the energy that you have. And when it's like getting into a place and suddenly people don't like you, and you have never done anything, but people don't really like you. They don't want to sit with you because of the energy that is within you. It's a trapped traumatic situation or trapped energy in you, right? And then that energy, we call it a shadow, right? That shadow then becomes, if you are not aware of your shadow, then it becomes like another person doing things that you don't like in you. So it's an energy entity, your energy entity, going to seek the things that matches its vibration. So 4 years later, like I said, I was sexually abused, and I have been asking myself for many years before I even came out that why did that guy come to me specifically? Because I've got 2 older sisters, and I've already said that my older sister is almost that guy's age. Like if they dated, it was not going to be a problem. But with me, it was a problem because I was very young. You know, he was how many years? 12 years older than me. I was, you know, all that, right? So he was 20 when I was 8 years, right? So why did that happen? Because the trapped pain that happened at age 4 when my brother was born, and that was not my mother and my father's problem. It was just I did not know how to process. When another child is born, then the focus goes from this person. And my parents had already 4 kids. They didn't have, or they didn't think that they had that type of problem. But my Joyene decided that I want to go back to my mother's womb. And that trapped shadow of myself went and attracted things that were within my vibration. And that is the reason why I went through sexual abuse. It was not because I had said, yeah, today I'm going to go through sexual abuse, but it was my trapped pain that then pushed me into that. That is why that guy didn't rape my sister. He didn't rape my older sister. He came to me not because I was vulnerable and all this thing that we are saying, but because of the energy I was emitting at the moment. Now, many people are like that because, again, let's go back to childhood. Between the ages of 0 and 7, very crucial. Those are the ages. Psychologically, they have even proved it with the research, trauma psychologists and all that. The book I'm also reading, it talks about that when a child is not regulated, right? When a child is not regulated, meaning that Nkosi, when I put him on my social media and say, I love Nkosi, he does not feel loved. What makes Nkosi feel loved is that when he says, then I act, that is when he feels loved, right? So many of us at some point in our time, and I believe that that is the situation that happened to me at age 4, I felt I was not regulated as I wanted to. So when you are not regulated, kids read love as action, right? You don't read love as like, yo, I love you. No, you read love as action. And at age 4, again, spiritually, that's when your energy center, the 4th energy center, which is your heart, that is when it's developing, right? So because maybe my mother was very busy and my mom never worked a day in her life. I salute my father. So obviously she had a lot of kids, and my father was going to work. He was the breadwinner, even up until today, 4 years later. When he passed away, my father is still a breadwinner. Like that guy, one day we'll talk about him. But then I believe that is what had happened in that situation. So the regulation that was supposed to happen to me particularly, I then felt like I was not loved. And that pain was trapped again in my energy body, which then looked for things that matches my level of vibration. Right? So many of us go through that. In our childhood, you are compared to another person, and in your trapped shadow self, you believe that you are not actually worth it. And you go into a workplace and they don't pay you like literally nothing. Guys, like I worked for 11 years, only 4 years that I enjoyed working, but the past years, I was up to here. Because of what? Because I had a trapped shadow in me that was locating me, giving me things that I personally, in my conscious self, I didn't want. I was working with 3 people. Okay, I was the 3rd one. All these 2 people never got demoted. They actually got promoted. They actually were earning more than me. But with me, in that 6 years, I was getting demoted. I was going to CCMA. I was, a whole lot of things. And you would ask yourself, some of you are maybe asking yourself, why me, God? Like that is a question that many people have, even myself at some point. Why me, God? It's because of the things that had happened in our lives that caused us, right, to close our heart. And when we closed our heart, the issues of life cannot flow through, and we can never experience abundance in our lives. So, like I said, I have been in very traumatic relationships. There was a point when I wanted to even take my own life. That's how traumatic it was, right? But as I went into a process of healing, it took me a year to meet Nkosi's father, and we did the things, right? It took me a year That was my first step of healing. It took me a year to get into that process, right? And when I was healing, I could open up to a man who saw me worthy of being married. Now, if you meet my ex, he will say, this is a new person, a different person. It's still Malebo. It's still the same person that they dated. The difference is that my energy has changed, you know? And I know that my ex was saying, hey, you are lying. This guy, you have been dating him. Hey, you have changed and all this thing. Yeah, I have changed my energy. You don't have to change anything, just changing the energy. How do you change your energy? By opening your heart and healing it and really taking out those dead emotions that you have been trapping inside of your heart. You have not expressed them. I mean, in my life, it was very, very difficult for me to cry. It was difficult for me to really feel sorry for another person. It was very, very difficult. Because of what? Because I have numbed pain in my life for so many times, so for so many years. Right? So there are people out there who are experiencing this, and we know with people who are cheating. You know, you have a good wife or a good husband or a good whatever, but then you are cheating. And when you ask, why are you cheating? They don't even know. I mean, I was reading my cousin's status saying that they are doing things, you know, not that they want, as men, they want to hate us as women, but they are doing things and they don't know why they are doing those things. It's because, again, if you remember, the boy child has been taught differently. Though even most of us, we are operating from masculinity, boy child have been taught to trap their emotions. When they cry, they were told, girl, boy, you are a man, you do not cry. And guess what happened to them? They trapped these emotions within them, and now they have numbed them to a point that they cannot feel them anymore. So are you one of those people? Are you one of those people who has trapped their heart, who has, you know, closed their heart because of a whole lot of things that had happened to you? So sometimes it's not, like I said, and we were talking with Bitumelo, that it's not even abuse. It's just a way not being compared to another person. That why don't you look like your sister? Why don't you behave like this? That is why we have people today who are saying we are conscious. We are conscious parents, you know, people who are saying we are not going to enforce beliefs and, you know, things that had happened in when we were growing up. We are going to consciously parent our children to teach them better. So there is a thing that they would say, children at the ages of this one, they have to be working, they have to be doing this and all these things. Now you are comparing your children with other children, because children, we know that they are different. So you might have been compared in your life. You might have been, you know, told something that way. Now, why are you not clever? At school, you might have those things that you have trapped inside of you, have made you close your heart so that you cannot feel the pain anymore. But then in the process of you protecting yourself from being hurt again, you are protecting yourself. You are actually hindering yourself from loving, from getting the money, from finding love, from even loving yourself, right? So today we are going to do the things that opens the heart, right? Let me read your comments. We are going to do the things that opens the heart. But before that, okay, yes, and like it's a confirmation. Oprah and Dr. Perry were doing just a confirmation energy. I cannot believe at my big age that energy centers are so important. It makes sense why so many unfortunate things are happening. Yes, girl. Yes, but we are healing. We are creatures who are healing. At this time, there's so many coaches. There are so many people, so much information available for us. And God did all this for us. The first one that he did, he said, I am going to give you my one and begotten son. Now, in Christianity, we think that Jesus is a person, but in spirituality, we actually understand that Jesus is a state of consciousness. And we also would say, I like in my teachings, when I'm healing people, I will call upon the Christ consciousness, because that is the unity consciousness, uniting you, your mind, your body, and your spirit, and uniting you with other people. Firstly, I would keep this information to myself, because I think people are not going to listen to me and all that. But right now, there is no separation between me and Jwaki, between me and Dumi, between me and Nero. I am one with all that is. And because I am one with all that is, they are connected to me. I'm going to share my information. They are going to share their information. And together we elevate, right? Okay. So, today we're talking shadow work. So what we're going to do, how are we going to open the heart? You are opening your heart from doing shadow work. So shadow work is a trapped part of you, or it's a part of you that has been wounded and that you do not acknowledge. You do not even see. You don't even know. Some people are saying that is my personality. No, girl, that's not your personality. Personality is something that we create, and some of these personalities come from what had happened to us as individuals, right? So we are going to go back to ourselves, the shadow self. Now, the first thing that you want to do is to do an introspection. So the first thing is an introspection. For you to open your heart, you need to do an introspection. And how you're going to do this introspection, you are firstly going to see your projections. So as a wounded person, my projections were that I was a Christian. I had accepted Jesus as my personal Savior and Lord, but I was very, very judgmental of other people and what they are doing. So my projections were, if a person does not believe in Jesus, then they are going to hell and they don't know what they are doing, and all of these things that I was saying about other people. But what I was actually saying was me. That was me projecting my fears, my wounds onto other people. I was projecting the things that were within me. Because when you are healed, you are going to heal other people. But when you are not healed, you are going to judge other people. You are going to project your fears, your insecurities, and your poverty mentality, and keep people in fear-based teachings, right? So whatever that you take out is what is within you. So the first thing you are going to check, what is it that you project on others? Right? That is the first thing. The second thing is looking at your triggers. It was Father's Day on Sunday. Hey, that day doesn't get better. Father's Day does not get any better because of the fact that as a people, we are wounded. We have father issues, father wounds, actually, and one day we'll talk about them. There are people who grew up with both the mother and father. They knew their father, but the father was not present in their lives, right? And then there are other people who don't even know if my father is a Zulu, whatever, right? And then there are also other people who have experienced that from, a conscious level, where a man ran after they told them that they were pregnant. And now we have a situation with people where they had to box men. And I saw this as wow, because some other people actually have boxed fathers into being providers, meaning that if you do not have money as a father, you cannot see your child. And a whole lot of other things that had been happening on Father's Day. So that is a trigger that it's not only in this generation. It is actually a generational thing. And I know that my father also, for whatever reason, did not know his father, right? But he then made a conscious decision that he's going to father his kids, right? But there are other people who have been, the father has not been there. And what they do is that they repeat the same method. And we are seeing them running away from their responsibilities, and we are judging them from their behavior. That is projection. We are judging them from their behavior. And that is why I'm reading this book. It doesn't judge you from your behavior. It tells you what had happened to you. What switches your mind to think that you can make a baby with another person and then run away, So the triggers that happened on Sunday, it is a wound that shows us that we need to go back to ourselves and really ask, why is this thing suffocating me so much? Why is it on Father's Day I feel triggered? And when you ask questions, when you ask yourself, why is it on Father's Day I'm so emotional? You know, the emotions might not even start. And I don't know, JJ is here because she said with her, it's a trigger from the point of the father of her baby and also her father, right? So you see, the trigger is like, it's big. So to some people, it's not the boyfriend who ran away, it's more into depth. And if you go deeper, you will find that in your lineage, those are the things that had been happening and it was thrown back to you. That is why it is coming to the light for you to heal it. So when you understand your triggers, what really triggers me, there are other people who are triggered by a married woman wearing stomach out. Why does it trigger you? Because I mean, that is another person's body. It's not your body. You can do anything with your own body. You know, there are other people who are triggered by Christians saying that now I'm a Christian and I also acknowledge ancestors. No, they want to go to the Bible and say, because everyone has got a choice. Why does it trigger you? Because you can make a choice and you can actually teach people that this and this, not enforcing. But if it's triggering you, if somebody says, I am a Christian, but I do a patla and I do all these things and it triggers you, there is something that you need to heal within you, right? So that is the second thing that you are doing. So we do projections, the things that you project on others, you judge others without even knowing. There are other people who will be like, oh, I'm not going to listen to a person with short hair, long hair, whatever, right? The projections and then the triggers, right? The third one, you want to do a childhood review. Now, a childhood review is when you go back to your childhood. So, like I said, there are people who still remembers their childhood, what had happened to them in their childhood, and a whole lot of other good things, right? I know my sister remembers, my husband also remembers that at age 3, the mother was what, and I don't remember that. When you do remember that, it is also that maybe you have went through a painful situation. So to some of us who went through trauma, we hardly remember unless somebody says, hey, you remember when you were 3 and 4 and all that. That's when we remember, right? So you want to go back to your childhood and you review, was I loved? Was I completely loved as a child? And what was expected of me as a child? To some people, they were expected to already be, to wash dishes and all these things, because we as people, we like our children to be of service, or already when you are 8 years, they say, hey, wash the dishes. And you didn't like that, maybe you didn't like that. What was expected of you as a child? The third one is, what behaviors were judged by my parents or my caregivers. So you might have been a person who used to cry a lot and your parents say, hey, we're not, toughen up, because they have told you to toughen up, you really toughened up in your life. There is an area in your life where you have toughened up. So you want to go back. You don't want to open the heart first when you don't know what you are opening the heart for. You want to go back and review your childhood. And this is both your mother and father. And I want to make a disclaimer. I'm not saying go and hate your mother and father. They did what they could with the information that was available for them. This is not a place where you go into then now hate them that they didn't love you the way. No, you want to understand what had happened to you. And in order for you to understand, you need to go back to revisit that past. Because things that, sometimes we are burying things that are not dead, that are still actively involved in our mind, in our spirit, in our body, right? So you want to go through that process. And now you are going to, after you get all the answers, you're going to come back into your life and say, what is this representing in my life? Now, I always say this, there are three parts where we are challenged as human beings. We are challenged in money, finances, and this also as to a workplace, anything that you do, whether it's business and, all those things that you do in order for you to get money, finances, relationships, and health. Now, there are other people who are experiencing all of these things. They have been so going to hospitals in and out that the medical aid is exhausted and all these things. But the problem is not the physical illness that they have. The problem is that the heart is closed and the issues of life does not go through. Person who was going from one operation to the other, and the medical aid was exhausted and a whole lot of other things until they healed. So sometimes you will be challenged in these three areas, but sometimes it will be one, maybe finances, sometimes it will be two, like myself being in debt, and today I don't have any debts in my name. Everything I buy is cash. And I'm not a money coach. I do not teach people finances. I just teach you how to heal so that you can receive the things that you should have in your life, right? So to some people it will be relationships, and the relationships, guys, this is not like the one. You can be beautiful, you can have a good body and all these things, and you can be challenged greatly in relationships if you are wounded as a person, right? So three of these things, if these three, you go back after you do your childhood review, you go back and you ask yourself, where does these things that I have been doing in my childhood, reviewing your childhood, your projections, where in my life are they present? You'll find them that they were present. Not particularly, I never thought I was worthy of love, so I never dreamt of marriage. Like, marriage was just a thing that surprised me. But it was never something that I actually wanted in my life. And one other thing, out of all of the things that I have been talking about, my trauma, it taught me that I'm not worthy of anything. That is why I was earning a little money. That is why I was getting demoted. That is why I was in debt. I mean, I was owing more than what I was earning annually, yearly. I was in, like, and I'm not talking about a debt of a house, a car. I'm talking about things that do not make sense. And there are people like that they can even close their debts and then reopen them because the wound of unworthiness says you get money, you give it to somebody else who deserves it. The feeling of undeservingness. So you're going to check where in this three things, those other things, the projection, the triggers, where are they present in your life? Triggers, you want to go back and really, you can, maybe next week we will talk about how to release energy blocks in your body, because triggers, you are not triggered like, there's something. It's either your heart is pumping or your solar plexus or something, is happening in you. So you need to also release that, but maybe we'll talk about it next week. But for now, you're going to do that. And then when you find that, you want to go back and love yourself, because the most important person in this world is you. It's not Malebu, just because Malebu is talking about this. It's you. You need to know that you are important, but you are not important more than another person. You are important as you are, right? So you need to go through a process of self-love and integrating yourself, your shadow self, to this person that you are, or the person that you want to be. So how do you do that? You practice self-love. So you're going to stand in a mirror, right? Out of all the things that had happened to you, maybe you were not loved the way you wanted, and you want to be true to yourself. Maybe you were not loved the way you wanted. Maybe you were not given the things that you really wanted. Maybe what actually caused you pain in your life is because your parents couldn't afford things. And today you have money. You want to tell people that I have money. Please know that I have money, And if you are boasting about that money, it will be taken away from you. So if you are having money so that you can hurt other people, that money will be taken away from you. So now you want to come back home to yourself, and then you're going to do the mirror work. Now, mirror work, what I do is, because I want to open my heart, and I believe that you also want to open your heart. You will stand in the mirror, look at yourself. Even when, if you have a big mirror, that one that you can see your body, you can even, literally take off your clothes and be naked, baby. Be naked and really look at yourself. Look at yourself and say, I love you. You are enough. The thing, although you want to download all the things that you haven't had in your life so that you can open your heart. Your heart must know that you deserve to be loved, right? So you want to sit in the mirror, look at every part of you. There are even parts of you that you hate. Like myself, I had to go 7 years without a weave because I wanted to love this big forehead. People used to tease me that I have a big forehead, I have a big bum, and all of these things. And right now, I love myself, right? I love myself because I did this mirror work. Now, you want to get into a place where you're going to integrate this wounded self in the shadow to yourself with LOVE for yourself, right? And you look at yourself in the mirror and you say, I love you. You look at your eyes, I love you, right? You look at your teeth, I love you. I love your set of teeth. I love your neck. I love everything about you. I love you. I love you. I love you. This you can do 10 minutes every day. In the morning, you wake up and you do mirror work, right? If you don't have a big mirror, you can look at yourself here, or even on your phone, you can just say, I love you, and I love you, and I love you, right? And then after that, you want to again develop a method of thanking yourself, right? How do you thank yourself? You will do it maybe 2 weeks after you do this one, right? Or a week after you do this one. After you say you love yourself, then you want to, when you wake up, you don't just wake up from the bed and you rush and do all these things. You want to wake up and touch your feet. Oh, I used to do this lovely baby, right? You touch your feet and you thank them for carrying you since you were a child, since the time when you were wounded, Malebu, at the age of 4. These legs have been carrying you. You have never in your life said, I have a problem with my legs, I cannot walk anymore. So you want to express gratitude. So love and gratitude is a positive emotion that comes from the heart, and this is a way of you opening your heart so that you can heal it. And now when you touch every part of you, your legs, hey, your hips, your breast, everything in the morning, and you say, I love you and thank you. Thank your body and also say, I love you, right? This is in the morning, then you go throughout the day with that. Now, whenever there is a trigger that you have already put it in the light, that remember the work that we did, the trigger. Now, when you have that trigger, you want to locate it. Where am I feeling this in my body? And that one, we're going to do it next week. Where in my body do I feel, if somebody says to you, you are ugly, and then suddenly, that's their view. They're thinking that you're ugly. Okay, fine. So what? But then if you are triggered, there is an emotion that comes up when somebody says that you are ugly. Which part of your body? Because you need to release that part. And that is where we're saying energy blocks or energy healing. And for people who cannot remember any of these things, the things that had happened to you, you're trying to go back to your childhood, you cannot remember anything and all that, I'm inviting you to the mind, body, and spirit healing sessions that I do. You can book them with me. It's 650 an hour. Then we can go through a process of, taking off that blocked energy, so that you can live the life that you are supposed to be living, right? And that is it from me for today. Another thing that I want to say today is that we also do have a session, a retreat on the 27th of August. That is a weekend away with women. It will be a woman, inspire the woman within. This is where we're going to do a lot of work. All you need to do is pay 3,500, and then you pack your bags and then you come to Mpumalanga. That's it. You will be provided with everything from food to activities and all that. All you need to do is just get into your car and come to Mpumalanga. If you are in Mpumalanga, you come to the place where we are. We need to get into a process of healing ourselves. I mean, myself, there are things that I did that you are seeing me today like this and doing all these things. It's not because it's by luck that I prayed so much. No, I prayed, and I also asked when God said, now you need to go to a process of healing. There is this other coach, there is this other. I didn't say, oh, I didn't have money. No. Money will always come. But, the memories that you are creating for yourself now, you need to, when you are 40 years, okay, some are already 40, you need to, when 10 years later, you need to look back at the things that you were doing for yourself and be proud. I am very proud of what I had accomplished since the time when I woke up and I said, I am sick and tired of living a life like this. And when I said that, I started channeling my energy to saying, who can help me? God, show up people who can help me release whatever emotion is, and I will do, literally, I will do the same. And this is what I am doing today. So I'm asking you as well, invest in your healing. Now I'm giving you this information. It's general information for everyone. But in order for you to get the intense thing, you need to be very personal about your own healing. All of us, we really need healing. There's no one who can come here and say, no, with me, I haven't, all of us, we need healing, even if it's not a traumatic situation, but all of us, we have been wounded. Even as a country, we are wounded. I talked about it, that as Black people, we can see how Black people are managing the country right now. The state of the country. Go to Mafikeng, you will see potholes. You go to everywhere. The roads that were built, that we are seeing today, were built by that other government. These people here now, we don't know what they are doing. The 500 billion, we don't know where it is. Because of what? It's not because they are reckless, irresponsible, and all that. That is a behavior. It's a behavior that shows that there is a root to what is currently happening. And if we heal as these people, we are healing Bonkosi, the generation that is coming after them. Right. That's it from me for today. Hello, Nokutula. Newa said, I was also triggered by Father's Day. Hey, my childhood, I discover new things every day. Girl, that's the time for us to heal. And as you heal, guys, even other people will find you very light. You are not very tight. People can love you. People can, like now, people are offering me help. I'm called by people saying, come and do this and this for me. Hey, I don't even advertise my publishing company so much, but there are people who know that I do have a publishing company. I'm always talking about my coaching thing, but there are people every day that I'm talking to that are really investing in my company, in my other company, just because of the healing work that I am doing for myself. As I heal myself, I heal my lineage, and I'm able to heal other people. Thank you, Bitumelo. Thank you guys for being here. Please subscribe if you haven't, and we will meet each other. For the people who are on Facebook, we'll meet each other tomorrow. I will hear in the spirit what is it that I need to be talking about. Because, I hear from the spirit that, hey, today you need to be talking about this thing, right? Subscribe to my YouTube channel. I do have healing sessions. I do have a retreat for women. I do have books, and I do have a coaching session. If you are here as well, you want to go into my online programs. I have a program called Heal Your Energy Frequency, and it's a 12-day program. I also have a program that is Love, Heal, and Prosper, which is part of what I spoke about today. If you are interested, it's 500. You can talk to me on WhatsApp. I'll leave my WhatsApp link there, and you can talk to me. And otherwise, I'll see you. Thank you, Rilebuhile. Thank you very much. I'll see you tomorrow. Goodbye.